So let me say something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. And this is for the so-called leaders or title holders who've never truly had their leadership tested. Whether your company is interested in building a veteran housing community that contracts with the VA, or artificial intelligence and cybersecurity contracts with Department of Defense, or a logistics contract with a large company such as Walmart, Lockheed Martin, or even Chevron. Whatever infrastructure gap you are looking to operate in, this is for you, because let's face it, whenever you look at a major contract, it's always going to be tied to closing an infrastructure gap, right? So this episode of GovCon Empire is probably going to break you a little, and it's meant to, not necessarily tear you down, but it's so that we can build you up with a mindset of a true fellow contracting empire or company. And it's about title holders and managers, those of you who have seemingly mastered all of the technical things. You got all that, but you keep having to shift, move, and exit because you are terrible with people. All right, now let's get it. Now, for most aspiring businesses who either lose contracts or never get in, those companies don't necessarily lose federal contracts. They don't lose corporate clients. They lose credibility. And it starts long before the contract plays out. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to talk about. If you can't keep your workforce inspired, you can't keep a client. And if you can't keep a workforce, you don't look stable. Not to the government, corporations, and definitely not to the people doing the evaluating. And I see so many business owners complaining about people not wanting to work. Oh, these new people don't want to work. Well, perhaps you know everything in the universe there is about being technical, but you're a terrible human. People think contracts are lost just because of pricing or performance metrics, certifications, or a bad proposal, or the wrong NAICS code. No, they're lost because the client, in this case, a government agency or corporation, the client can feel the chaos. And let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Clients don't leave when you look weak. They leave when you look fake strong, when leadership smiles too much, when they over-explain everything, when they talk faster instead of clearer. That's fear. And experienced clients recognize fear because they've seen it right before collapse every single time. All right, now let's move on. So let me connect this to something most people still don't understand. The biggest contracts in the world are not about products. They're not about services. They're not about trends. They are about infrastructure. No, it's not about making an offer. It's about infrastructure. The stuff everything else sits on: housing, energy, transportation, logistics, healthcare systems, data systems, government facilities, or being a provider of government facilities, workforce systems. This is where real wealth lives, not in flipping, not in hype, in holding systems together over time. And here's the part that ties this whole video together. You cannot win infrastructure contracts if you cannot keep people. Infrastructure is long-term. It's slow, it's boring, it's pressure. Only stable organizations can carry it. And that's why leadership and morale matters more than talent, tech, or talk. And if you don't understand infrastructure yet, it's already on this channel. In fact, I broke it down in the last few videos. Go watch them. We ain't got to go through that again. But this video will hit different once you watch those. All right, so pause, take some time to do that if you need to, and then come back to this one. But yes, you can have resources, you can have connections, you can have the look, you can have the fancy pitch deck and a polished executive team page. But if your people are burning out, rotating, quitting, or all checked out, you look like a risk. And government clients are trained to smell risk. They feel it in meetings, in email tone, and how fast people respond, and who shows up late, and who stopped caring. It's a reflection of your character, and usually it's very precise. You know why companies can't scale? Because they never learned how to lead humans. They only learned how to manage metrics. And metrics are a hiding place. I know all the buzzwords. I have lived in them. KPIs, OKRs, utilization rate, burn rate, EBITDA, runway, velocity, throughput, capacity models, head count ratios, margin per employee, billable hours, cost per deliverable, resource allocation, look, risk registers, heat maps, dashboards. You can memorize all of it. You can sound smart in boardrooms, but none of that shit matters if the people who make it real don't trust you because you have bad character. And here's the part most leaders miss. When a team stops complaining, that's not peace. That is surrender. They've already quit emotionally because they know that you're a terrible leader with bad character and they're just waiting to leave physically. And leaders who only look at numbers always miss that moment because you are blind. You're blind to trying to look polished, but you can't even see humans. The key to mastering technical performance is mastering the people who specialize in those areas. But that requires something money can't buy: character, experience in the trenches. And character is built when budgets are frozen, raises are gone, resources are thin, pressure is high, and everyone is looking at you. Wondering, okay, can we get some kind of a damn solution? Look, I've served in large government agencies. I've led teams when morale was low and pressure was relentless. I've watched projects survive only because leaders protected their people when the system did not. Most CEOs you've never had to do that because you've acquired a workforce. You didn't build one. And that's huge. I know a lot of people with money and status, especially here in Houston, and they did not get it from building organizations. They got it from a hedge fund, a talent, street money. They knew the right people. They got it from an exit, an inheritance, a lucky play. Somebody opened doors for them. And now they buy companies. So they buy companies, right? They buy teams, they buy titles, but they never learned how to lead. So they hop from venture to venture like a business vagabond, wondering why nothing scales. They think the problem is the market. No, the problem is them. The problem is your bad character. And here's a test that most leaders fail. Take away their budget, take away their title, take away their assistants, take away their talking points. If nobody still follows them, they were never a leader. They were a role. Take away their money. And people who never had to earn loyalty, they panic the fastest when things get hard because they don't know how to replace money with trust. They pay for people's presence. Now, let's talk about why clients leave. Here's what government agencies and corporations look at that no proposal will ever tell you: leadership stability, workforce continuity, team morale, institutional memory, turnover risk, knowledge loss, execution reliability. You cannot fake that, and you cannot put it on a spreadsheet. This is why companies lose recompetes. This is why contracts quietly expire. This is why clients stop returning calls. Not because you failed technically, because you failed organizationally. They can see the chaos. And think about a city or municipality, because a city is a business too. Cities fail for the same reason companies fail. Low morale. Permits take forever. Infrastructure rots. Agencies stop talking. Nobody cares enough to fix it. That's not funding. That's leadership rot. It's bad. That's bad character. Some mayors love ribbon cuttings, but they disappear when morale falls. Some councils, they love the cameras instead of solutions. Some agencies are full of brilliant people who stop caring because nobody listens. When the smartest people go silent, decay is already happening. Now let's talk about investors and CEO ego traps. If you only look at numbers and never ask about turnover, morale, or leadership, you are not investing, you are gambling. And if you keep losing money in great deals, it's not bad luck, that's bad judgment. It's a lack of intelligence. And here's the ego trap for most CEOs. If everyone around you is scared to tell you the truth, you're already failing. The higher you go, the quieter the truth gets. And let's talk about the short attention span failure. A lot of people fail because they think knowledge comes in 30 seconds. This is the pitch deck elevator pitch people. They think a TikTok short or an elevator pitch or a quote will unlock systems that took others 20 years to build. It won't. Readers are leaders because readers can sit still long enough to understand something deeply. If you're too lazy to read, you'll never understand infrastructure. If you can't focus, you'll never build a stable workforce. One well-built company with a stable team holding one infrastructure lane will outperform 500 random investments every single damn time. But that requires patience, and most people don't have it. So, let me bring this back to where we started. Infrastructure is where real wealth lives. And infrastructure only works when people stay. You don't build it with hacks. You don't scale it with shortcuts. You don't hold it with rented talent. You hold it with stable leadership, relationships, and earned trust. That's why some companies win one contract and other companies hold them for decades. This is why proposals win, but leaders stay in. This is why companies that look powerful on paper collapse under pressure in real life. If you want federal clients and corporate clients and infrastructure contracts that actually change your life, learn how to lead humans, because performance follows morale. Morale follows leadership, and leadership starts with character. This is GovCon Empire, where we will always talk about what actually holds things together. There's no time to talk about fluff. We have enough channels doing that already. You want to learn more? Reach out. Bye.